But there are always going to be some a-holes who are trying to exploit the death of these cops and these situations. And I'm sure Sean Hannity's having a field day today. But Rudy Giuliani coming up. I mean, look, this guy desperately, he wants to juice a couple of speaking engagements. He wants to stay relevant out there. He's never going to run for president again. He's making too much money. He's enjoying his life. But here he is. He's not going to blame Mayor de Blasio because he knows that story that I read earlier about police unions doing the same thing to him even after he was out there supporting them in the 92 strike when they did that, or riots, I should say, against Dinkins. Because the cops unions, they do this to every mayor, right? This is the way they basically make sure that they don't have any civilian oversight to what they're doing. That's why they basically rioted on the Brooklyn Bridge in 92, I think it was, against Dinkins, because Dinkins was going to bring in a civilian review board. And then they come out and start distributing flyers. We don't want Giuliani to attend our funerals when some of the union officials get caught on racketeering. Understand, this is not a problem with unions. This is a problem with this union. And it may be just a problem that exists culturally in that police force. And so you're always going to get pushback. But here's Rudy Giuliani, smart enough to know that I don't want to make it about de Blasio because then people will be able to criticize me because I got the same stuff. So who can I pick? Oh, I'm on Fox. I know who to blame it on.
That's when he's really saving lives. The other part is propaganda. We've had 4 months of propaganda, starting with the president, that everybody should hate the police. I don't care how you want to describe it. That's what those protests are all about. The protests are being embraced. The protests are being encouraged. The protests, even the ones that don't lead to violence, and a lot of them lead to violence, all lead to a conclusion. The police are bad. The police are racist. That is completely wrong. Actually, the people who do the most for the black community in America are the police, New York City and elsewhere. Well, they are the ones, not the Al Sharptons, they are the ones who are putting their lives on the line to save black children.
What are the Al Sharptons? What the Al Sharptons are. So the president has been pushing propaganda for people to hate police.
Fuck them. Coming straight out of Chicago. It's a little rework of the NWA song.
Oh, I see.
Great work.
So there's
it's not enough to just sort of protest the police. You need to go out there. There needs to be trash cans thrown. You need to have mace. You need to really show people that fundamentally we don't respect them.
Has there been any violence? I mean, it's New York City. There's violence every day, frankly. But has there been any inordinate amount of violence from these protests? No.
Hell no. It's pathetic. They've been so orderly and peaceful. I mean, Jesus, come on. Stop being pussies. Let's go out here. Let's have a riot. Let's do something real.
I wonder if Giuliani, every time he does a hit like that, he's got some type of social media metric that shows how much more he's going to get from the Department of Homeland Security contracts. Or unbelievable. What a disgusting human being he is. And
truly the most shocking comment was no one else does more for the black community in America than the police departments.
Oh yeah,
that is. I mean, because you're also just basically saying that obviously the black community being such as it is, it's not the colleges of America or the schools of America or small business or civic organizations. It's like, well, basically these neighborhoods are just crime cesspools, and the only people that show up and control them are cops. And that's the prime way you can benefit the African American community. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's the whole subtext of that comment.
Here is now Joe Walsh. You remember that guy, the deadbeat dad who was the congressman for a brief period of time. He tweeted out, "Hey, Obama and de Blasio, since Ferguson and Garner attacks on police are way up. Your words mattered, and now 2 cops dead." As if they're responsible for Ferguson and Garner, right? George Pataki, as opposed to the cops who actually killed Mike Brown and killed Eric Garner. George Pataki, who I really do think, I mean, I have a special place in my heart of disgust of this man, because I've sat across a panel from him and found him to be just horrible. Pataki writes, "Sickened by these barbaric acts, which sadly are a predictable outcome of divisive anti-cop rhetoric of Eric Holder and Mayor de Blasio." So this guy who shot why did he shoot his girlfriend? Was it Eric Holder?
Yes, of course.
He shot his girlfriend first because of Eric Holder and then de Blasio, and then said, to make them really happy, I'm going to go shoot 2 cops now. Unbelievable.
It's also, I mean, by all accounts, the 2 police officers that were murdered were very good at their jobs and very well respected in the areas they worked.
Well,
and
this guy
didn't. And the son, and
this guy just happened to see
this
a car
guy just
full of
happened.
cops.
Of course. I'm not even talking. I'm not even addressing that. I'm saying this guy was out of his mind, obviously. But I'm saying nobody. There was one story yesterday talking about because Ramos, he has a 13-year-old son. And his son said, you know, it's the worst day of my life, and this is the best dad anybody could ask for. People in the neighborhood had said these guys were, you know, like a good presence in the neighborhood. The families want, as you said, de Blasio to come. In none of these statements, other than the most generic, like, oh, yeah, these guys were great cops, they're not even taking 5 seconds to talk about what these guys actually did.
Of course.
They're purely exploiting their murders, not even like before their bodies were even carried off of the scene, basically.
Unbelievable.
I mean, that's the flip side of it. You're doing all of this blaming of Obama and de Blasio, which is insane and cynical. And then they're cheapening cops' lives more than any protester I ever heard.
Oh, definitely.